Hello everybody, welcome to episode 27 of BitLapse. As you can tell, my voice is a lot better opening this show than Jamie's, and he is flicking me off right now. Anyways, I am your host, David, here with my very, very, very angry co-host, at least angry with me anyways, Jamie.
Hello and welcome, guys.
And you notice how I let you say hello after I introduced you?
I knew you were going to go there.
You should get like a notepad out and just write down all this stuff. You know, it's very helpful if you want to host again.
I will host again, and I will make sure, like I told you, I will do.
No, I think we need to have Kyle host one show too once he gets his mic, and then we'll let the fans choose who should the host be when I'm not around. Because they're obviously going to choose me if I'm around.
Hey, you know what? You've been doing this for a while, so for me, it's...
Not really. I've been hosting a show for 27 episodes. Oh no, 26 episodes because you hosted one yourself.
Right. What I'm saying,
I've been on another podcast, but I'd never hosted before, except for the first one that we did together, which was the pilot.
Right. Understandable.
So we have the same experience hosting.
Yeah, whatever.
It's just I don't have a fake broadcaster voice, which, by the way, I caught a little bit of it.
When?
In your ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. You did the broadcaster voice.
I did?
Yes, you did at the beginning. But anyways, let's get to the show. We have a small list of topics. The big news today is that after months and months and months of speculation that Google was indeed going to buy Twitch for like $1 billion, it fell through.
No, they backed out.
Well, it fell through.
Okay, backed out. Fell through, whatever.
It fell through. It was a dissolve from both sides because they couldn't agree on who would pay the legal fees if there were antitrust issues, if the sale went through. So that fell through.
Well, and think of it this way, though. It almost would be like a monopoly just because the fact is Google actually owns YouTube.
Well, that's why they were worried about the antitrust.
Right. But
they knew that the lawsuit would come, and you have to actually give them a little kind of kudos to at least have the foresight into, that's going to happen. But that also lit some other company that is near and dear to most people's hearts that live on the internet to come in and swoop them up for less than $1 billion.
Not by
measly
much.
$22 million less than $1 billion, but still at $978 million, $22 million is more like pocket change. Like you're going out to get a $1 burger at Wendy's or something like that.
On the value menu.
And, you know, once I saw it, it really isn't that big of a surprise. And I think it's a very, very smart purchase for Amazon.
Well, I think it's
But I'm going to ask you for your opinion on it before I delve into the details of why I think it's going to be amazing for Amazon.
Well, honestly, I don't really, I don't see how it would be a bad thing, especially Twitch becoming big.
Well, it's a bad thing because they're spending a crap ton of money on it.
No, yeah, but you're not spending a crap ton of money that might work. I mean, the Twitch has been going for years now, not a lot of years, but enough years to that they are pretty much the prominent people that when you want to live stream, it goes through Twitch. So, I mean, even Justin TV, that, is part of Twitch. So, well,
it's because it started as Justin TV, then they switched over to Twitch. It was the same service, and then they got rid of Justin TV just this past month.
Right. And so, obviously a lot of the Justin TV subscribers had to switch over to the Twitch, their accounts and stuff like that. But, I mean, Amazon basically saw this, and they were smart. I think they were very smart about it. They went in, they saw, a company that's basically, just basically owns the streaming world of any PC or even Xbox, even PlayStation now. So, it was very smart for them to take that over. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with it afterwards. I mean, once they've acquired it, besides, they still have to sign the paperwork and basically make it their own. I'm just kind of interested to see what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know.
Well, the Amazon CEO has already come out and said that there won't be any changes for a while. But whenever there is a takeover like that is like common language. Like my day job, we were taken over like probably that it was like 7 months ago, and they gave us the same message that, hey, we don't plan on making any changes right now, which is just, there's going to be changes sooner or later.
Well, with any
what
business
happens,
acquirement.
who knows?
Yeah, no, that, like I was saying, any business acquirement, even my company, who was a small orthopedic group, the main hospital ended up acquiring us, and they didn't touch us for a long time, and then they started slowly kind of creeping in, setting in different types of rules and things that they wanted to have us do their way, which was nobody likes change, so. But you end up adapting, and then everything's great. My concern with Twitch becoming Amazon, I just don't want there to be. I even have issues with Twitch as of right now with this whole audio thing. And I didn't tell you, Dave. My second video, I have another video that they cut my video out on, and I put in a thing.
For that game, you talk about the videos for Arcade, right?
No. I actually...
It was for another game?
Yeah, I did it for Peggle 2. I was actually doing some streaming and just kind of showing off the game. And
You know why? Because probably like Ode to Joy and all those other, licensed songs.
We'll see.
And that's not Twitch. That's going to be the thing.
And I'm not going to get off topic because, I can actually talk about that right now. And I should have actually added that into our little thing to talk about. But, with Amazon acquiring, I hope they decide to look back and look at some of the changes that Twitch has made with the whole audio, and I understand the whole copywritten thing.
Twitch had to do that in order to get purchased.
Oh, I don't know.
Because right now, Twitch wasn't really worth going after for like the DCMA stuff and all that fun stuff. But when a company like Google or Amazon suddenly purchases them, then there's a huge target on Amazon and Google.
Okay, but
and that's why they made those changes to make the sale process go a little bit smoother.
Well, here's my...
And guess what? That's needed because whenever we buy the game, we're buying a license to play that song, not to play that song over the internet for free.
I understand.
And that goes into the gameplay feeds and all that stuff. There's a whole nother conversation about streaming that we could have in another show.
Right. Like I said, my only concern is it was part of the game. I wasn't adding new audio to it. You got to also remember that Twitch is a free service. I get that. But again, going into this was something that we've had for Twitch for a couple, 3-4 years and not had any issues. All of a sudden now they get acquired by a huge company. Oh, it's a big issue now? Come on.
Yeah, it happened to YouTube when they got acquired by Google.
I know.
Like I said, the bigger the target, the more money that a company could have, like Amazon and Google. Right. Come on, Amazon's paying almost $1 billion for this.
Right.
They have money, and they will settle out of court for a large sum of money. But that's just where everything is right now. And us complaining about it isn't going to change it.
No,
it's because these record companies and this other licensing stuff. It's all a pain in the butt, and Sure, it ruins some things, especially with game audio that's part of the game.
Right.
But, few popular streamers that actually do play music that isn't part of the game is one of the reasons why that now exists.
Right. And I totally get that. That 100% I get that. You should not be streaming music over the top of a game, especially copyrighted music. We don't have the rights to it. I understand it's your favorite music, and it's another thing that some of the music that's boring and people don't want to hear. People want to hear the better or your music in the background, but we don't own it, and we don't have the rights to that. So,
right. And like I was going to go to before, just like outlining why this is an amazing deal for Amazon is just because of the marketing and advertising.
True.
Now, basically, Amazon aggregates a lot of data from us, data mining and all that stuff of what we're looking at on the internet. Uh-huh. That way they can market it to us on their site. They can see what games we're watching, what streams we're watching, and then pop up an ad saying, hey,
going there with that.
If you like this game, click here, go check it out on Amazon.com. There's 5-6 other games that you might be interested in too, because other people that were interested in this game also bought these games too. So the like I said, that will null and void that $1 billion in a short amount of time.
Yeah, but it's going to piss a lot of people off.
Not really.
Dude, come on. Even with YouTube, and we do a lot of videoing now with YouTube. I haven't monetized us yet. And when you monetize, all the ads pop up, and it doesn't matter what whatever you search.
Oh yeah,
it pops up there, and it can be somewhat.
Yeah, but the thing is, they try to be better with it by looking at the data on your computer, your internet data when you're searching for stuff like that, to give you ads that are applicable to you.
Right, AdSense.
But the ads ads are part of the thing. It's a free service. There are going to be ads. It's not going to be annoying. I'm saying that as a person that's like just browsing streams and watching, and then all of a sudden this person's like buying this game. I'm like, what is this game?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's a link up on the site that says, hey, you can get this on Amazon. Or here's some 5 or 6 other games that you could get that are like this. Then that's actually kind of useful.
I just, I'll be interested to see how they, and like I said, I think that's what, like you were saying in regards to the ads that they're going to add for all the Amazon stuff. I just hope that they don't overdo it with ads, and I get it. It's a free service and we don't pay for it and we should be fortunate. And I get with the ads that helps, with the overhead and the pay that they would technically put into it.
Yeah, but even Twitch right now isn't that bad with ads.
No, it's
not. You get one every like hour of
a video
long streaming.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You get one at the beginning and then you get one like every hour and a half or something like that.
And then you can actually buy your way out of that too. It's
like
like
the
$15
premium,
or something like that. The Turbo.
Oh,
It's
Turbo.
called
That's right.
Twitch Turbo, yeah.
Well,
so I could probably see them getting rid of that Turbo service and making everybody watch ads. But then again, it depends on how many people are actually paying for it right now and whether or not it's actually worth keeping that over the marketing money that could be getting just by putting ads out to everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm always weary of things like that. I think Amazon's a great company. I mean, it's great to have such a backer like that, with Oculus, Facebook picked them up. That's a huge, for them, it was a huge deal to actually have a huge company like them to back them up. Now his fruitions of creating this Oculus and making it great and making it wonderful now can actually come to reality just because he's got such a big backer. Same thing with Twitch.
Yeah, those are two totally different things because Twitch is already out there. It's what it is.
But
as opposed to Oculus, which doesn't technically exist as a retail product yet, and is still going through development.
Right.
And Facebook is paying for those development costs now, as opposed to Twitch, where it's just they're buying it. And they're buying the service.
Right. And I just think that with Amazon backing them, it's going to be a great place for Twitch to be in. Because, who knows what else they'll end up wanting to provide for services for Twitch. And there might be some paid services, which they already have for the Turbo, but there might be other options where we might get other tools or we might be able to do other different things with our streams. As of right now, Twitch is just now telling us that we have to make sure that we back up our videos or do highlights with them, or they're gone within a couple of days now. Because
there was reasons that they did that were actually good. We outlined those in one of our episodes.
Right, but all I'm saying is that there's tons of different things that are happening, and I mean, I'm kind of interested to see what ends up happening with Amazon and what.
And what will happen though? If people are unhappy, there'll be another offshoot that will start up.
Yeah.
It'll be fresh. And I think like Hitbox is one of them right now. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. But another thing that's been going around the internet in the past week, these strange DDoS attacks that a hacker group has been going after gaming world. First it started at indie games, then it went to Sony, Blizzard games, and even hit Xbox Live at some point. And this time it went a little bit further too. John Smedley, the president of Sony Online Entertainment, was on a flight which actually got grounded because somebody called in a bomb threat. And they've already linked this bomb threat to the hackers that are linked to the DDoS attacks. And this happens every time where these hackers come out and they say they're sticking up for us consumers, but instead they're taking away the value from us because we can't use the service when it's not being, when it's being attacked.
Right.
And that actually is taking money out of our wallet.
Yeah, because we pay for a service that we expect to have up and running 24 hours, 7 days a week. And, when we have hackers like this who go in and really kind of ruin it for the masses, this is something that as a community we can help out in different ways. I would think is like, hey, if you know who these guys are doing this stuff, man, hey, I say rat them out. Honestly, I mean, all you're doing is ruining the community. I mean, We all pay for a service. We all pay for certain benefits for these services, and yet they go in and ruin it because they think, because they're not happy of what ended up happening, or their expectations of what we should be getting. That's not the mass. And
yeah, it's that, or they're trying to force their political agendas onto us by doing this too, because they don't like a certain company.
Yeah, and it's just like, the old saying, all it takes is one bad person to ruin, everything for everyone. It's the same thing with, one bad seed in a barrel. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the funny thing is that the community, the bigger part of it, let's say 95%, I'm just coming up with a number, we're not making us think about it. We're not complaining about it because we're happy. We're happy with what we got. We're happy with the service that we're getting.
I wouldn't say we're happy, but we're content.
Yeah, true. Okay, fine. Content.
There's a difference between being satisfied and happy.
Well, and even just being content. The fact is that, if it was really that bad, the community in itself would have a bigger say in this. And like you said, it's just a small group who's just not happy with what they did. And then take it to another level to where they do a bomb threat to one of the presidents. Come on. This is just getting out of hand and getting stupid.
Yeah, because not only is that grounded an entire flight with other people on it, like just regular people, regular civilians that have nothing to do with this.
Right.
And there they are scared to death because there was a bomb threat.
Right.
They're being grounded for no apparent reason. It's ridiculous. And another scary fact is that these DDoS attacks usually are a front for something else that's going on at the same time.
True. Yeah.
Like trying to get in to get credit card information, kind of like what Sony went through, it was 6 years ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous because they're really not going after these companies. Companies aren't losing that much.
Right.
Us as consumers, we're probably the most at risk here, and it's dumb. It's like, I don't know. It just always pisses me off whenever I see this stuff. Because I think the last big one was hackers did a DDoS against the what's it called? It was a charity they went after, the website.
Oh yeah. I know exactly what charity.
It's Front Tours Gamer, the Stephen Machuga, I think his name is. Shanghai 6 is what this handle goes by. It's Operation Supply Drop. Operation Supply Drop. They were having a Twitch stream 24/7, and they were taking donations on their webpage, and it got DDoS'd. Yeah. It's like they're trying to do something good, and then there's people that are trying to ruin it. It's just for a little bit of attention sometimes, just to basically have a virtual pissing contest. And, seriously, if I saw one of these guys in person, I'd probably punch him in the face. But then again, he'll probably hack all my information, and I wouldn't have anything to live. Like, my identity would be gone and everything, so who knows?
It's crazy what's out there today and what these hackers are doing. They really take the fun out of gaming and really put a big...
I wouldn't say they're the only ones taking the fun out of gaming.
Well, but think of it this way, though, Dave. If companies like Microsoft and Sony, if this continues to happen to them, they're going to start shutting things down. They're going to start making things a lot harder to get to. They're going to make things a lot more complicated for the consumer or for the community to be able to do whatever they have to do to protect themselves. But protect...
No, exactly true.
Because
you saw the steps that Sony took with PlayStation Online, and the fact that they were able to get the whole system back up within 2 days is a pretty good. And really, the only helpful thing with this is it makes these companies realize that they have to make their systems better.
Well, they got to
whatever they're using to give us all our information and stuff like that, or all hold it, is that they have to do it better, which means that they have to spend more money, which means that they're probably going to charge us more money for the service.
Well, that's what I mean. And, the whole security, the behind the scenes, the back servers and all this stuff, the internet security stuff is just needs to get tighter. And for them, it's like, they want to protect their consumers, the people that buy their stuff and use their access their servers and stuff like that. And yet we're gonna end up paying for it in the long run, because to protect us, they have to take these extra steps and spend more money. And, it weighs out, or does it weigh out really? We're actually having to pay more just to protect it, just to have fun, because of some idiot group who decided to go out and hack Sony or hack Microsoft. And yet to protect, or now Microsoft and Sony are now trying to protect themselves. So, it all rolls downhill. Well, they have to spend more money. Well, we're going to put it on our consumers.
Yeah, and not only do they have to protect themselves from the hackers, that they also have to protect themselves from us having to sue them because they lost our information yet again.
Exactly. And then what happens with the consumers? Well, now they're all really leery about wanting to actually, have the PlayStation Network.
Invest into a service.
Exactly.
And that's why, even to this day, I do not trust the Sony service, like the PlayStation Network store and all that stuff. I will not buy directly from them. I'll go get it from like Amazon or buy a points card from them because I just don't have that level of trust that I have with like Microsoft or Steam at this point.
Right. And again, nothing against Sony whatsoever. I'm almost with you, or I am with you with that. I'm just very leery now with all, again, nothing against Sony, but with all the different attacks that they've had and
well, it is kind of against Sony because they're the ones that had the big thing happen to them.
Right.
That was the biggest one in like
right.
ever, in like for like. And during online gaming, that was the biggest hack ever because they got all the information.
Yeah, and that's scary. Scary for the people that, do their credit cards or put their ATM cards on there. Now, oh, great. Sony been hacked or Microsoft was hacked, and now we're all concerned about if our information was stolen.
Yeah, and this is people's hard-earned money, too.
Yeah. It's crazy out there. I really wish they would just, leave it alone. I'm sorry that you guys are not happy or you're not pleased with whatever happened. So be it. You know what? There's a lot of things that us ourselves are not happy about, things that we see with Microsoft or Sony, but you know what? We have to deal with it. And it's their business and it's their right.
It's not deal with it. It's vote with your wallet. If you don't like something, don't buy it.
Right.
Easy as that. But unfortunately, we're into times now where people don't like it, but they still buy it anyways, and they still complain about it. Right. And you know what? That is your right. But guess what? Let me try to make your life a little bit better, just so you can smile a little bit more. Don't buy it.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Yeah. Well, no, they can't. They can't say that because they really think that they are entitled to a certain.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy to think that these hackers are entitled, or just people who have that type of.
Oh no! We already moved away from the hackers. We moved into the general gaming public right now. Well, not even general, but the vocal minority on the internet.
True, and even those vocal minorities, I'm not saying they're hackers or they're not, but again, it's just with anything, it's mostly political, and we just got to remember this is about gaming. What did Vicious say? In his tweet? What happened to gaming? Why can't it just be fun again? And why can't we?
No, it's got to be a console war. It can't be just, hey, my friend's got a Sega down the street. I couldn't afford 2 consoles, so I got a Super Nintendo. He's got a Sega. I'm going down there to play Sega games, and he's coming over to my house to play Super Nintendo games. It's just that all that whole mentality is gone, and it's like I forget we're counting the amount of games that are coming out this fall, and there's like 2 separate days where there's 3 games coming out on each day, and like for some reason we feel like we need to buy them day one. And I brought up the question, I'm like, do you remember the days where we didn't need to have a game right when it came out?
Yeah, I do remember those days.
And that was called before the internet.
Well, yeah, that was way before the internet, and
like there was maybe like 1 game a year that was like a must-have, and it was one of the bigger games. It was like Super Mario,
right,
or Sonic, or something like around those lines, where it was just huge and everybody's going to be playing it.
Right.
But now it's like 20 to 30 games like that in the span of like 3 months that we feel that we have to buy.
Right.
And unfortunately, the internet has spawned that because social media has become such a big thing that we're so apt to just go out there and start sharing our experiences, which is awesome. But at the same time, then there's spoilers out there. There's people complaining, saying that they're not liking the ending, aka Mass Effect 3. And then the developer just starts changing their vision to appease these customers that bought into their original vision. So it's
Well, and
it kind of sucks, but it's awesome at the same time.
no, and it has both effects. It's a great effect, but yet at the same time, like you're saying, it's a bad effect. With us, the community, having such a say into what the developer, not what they do, but whether it's good or bad. Like you were talking before, we didn't have that ability. When gaming was young. I mean, gaming's still young, but when it was super young, you got what they gave you, and you were content. You were happy with it. And
well, I wouldn't say you were happy with it, but there were bullshit games back then. Don't get me wrong. Like, a lot of people keep on saying Battletoads was an extremely difficult game, and for some reason they want it remade. I don't know why. I never played it myself, but when I see something like that, and I'm just like, whatever. Okay. But I remember, like, I think it was Time Lords for NES, where for some reason I didn't know what the hell to do after that first level, and I didn't go anywhere and start complaining about it. I just sat there, like, banging my head up against the wall, trying to think about how to do this. Right. And you know what? I should probably look up how to actually get past that first level now. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But
it's just different, like I said, different times, and things have changed, even with the hackers, there wasn't nobody hacking. I mean, you had, well, I guess there was some type of hacking back then.
There's always hacking.
But it wasn't to the level or the extent that we see hacking now, where people's hard-earned money is being attacked, or people are being threatened, and that just all needs to go. That type of that nonsense just has got to get out of the gaming community. It's supposed to be about having fun and enjoying.
And you know what? That's kind of why I'm glad we do the Dave versus Jamie and the BitLapse Brawl, and it's a lot because it's like we kind of lost touch with that GoldenEye mentality. Where
we go.
Sure, no, I'm just saying it's like, we're sitting there, we're friends, we're playing 4-player split screen, and we're having fun.
Right.
It doesn't really matter who's winning. Unless they're using odd job, then obviously they're cheating. But it's for fun, and unfortunately, co-op games are an awesome experience, but they kind of moved us away from playing against our friends in multiplayer games.
Right.
And instead, we always want to play on teams against some other people.
Right.
And I kind of miss that, and that's why I love what we're doing with BitLapse Brawl, where we're actually going up against each other, and I don't really care if I win.
It's just fun.
If I happen to win, we're going to talk crap, and it's going to be fun. Yeah. And it's kind of like why I want to get into WWE with you guys.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun, too.
Because, like, I had WWE 12, I think it was, and I was playing online. I wasn't really playing to win.
Yeah.
And we had matches go on for like 45 minutes to an hour. Just because there's people that were just messing around and having fun. And it brought me back to when, the N64 days with WrestleMania 2000, where I was sitting in a college dorm doing the exact same thing with my college buddies. It was just... Yeah. It's to have fun, have some laughs. It's not always about winning. There's a time to do that, because, I'm very competitive, especially when it comes to certain things.
I mean, it's okay to be competitive, and like you said, about being competitive with your friends, but you don't take that competitiveness to that other level. To
a angry level, which unfortunately we see so many times in professional sports these days, too, where people start fighting, and it's every time I see that, I just shake my head, especially in hockey. You know what? Hockey, yes, the fighting is entertaining, but it also ruins the game a little bit.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of dig those. I kind of look
forward
like
to I said, it's entertaining, but it's like it's not needed.
No, it's not. And it's not technically
and it's just
part
like the
of
pushing
the game.
And the shoving of people like in the NBA or the NFL.
Right.
It's like, I just don't get it.
Right.
And I do play sports myself, and I've never gotten into a shoving match in a basketball game before.
Right. It is, like I said, it's that whole mentality, and it's that competitiveness in all of us that we have, but it's being able to control that competitiveness and actually being able to being competitive but still having fun at the same time. I mean, a good example, like you were talking about, though, was how we were doing Screen Cheat. I mean, that was totally fun. I mean, we were having a good time. We were having a blast. We were able to go around, we were pitted up against each other. Yet at the same time, we were still being competitive, but we were still having a good time and laughing and joking and talking smack to one another.
Yeah,
and having fun.
That's exactly why I don't play sports games online anymore, especially the ones that are one-on-one,
Right.
kind of like Fight Night, UFC, Madden.
Right.
I don't do it anymore because when people can't lose graciously.
Oh, yeah.
Or, not graciously, but I'm thinking of a different word. But they can't do it. So they end up quitting early,
Rage quitting,
and then they
yeah.
they ruin the whole experience. And it's just like, come on, it's a game.
Right.
Have fun. It's okay to have fun. And that's why sometimes when these games come out and they're saying, yeah, we want to be on MLG, we want to be for pro gamers, I just start, my eyes glaze over because I just don't care about the competitive gaming scene
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
And sure, yes, it's important to get gaming out there, but at the same time, it hurts gamers' images because they're still using people's gamer tags and stuff to talk to them. Like with the Dota 2 International,
Yeah.
they're not using their real names; they're using their gamer handles. I'm like, if you want to be taken seriously, use their real names.
Yeah.
And that's one of the mentalities I went through, when we were putting together BitLapse. I'm like, I want us to use our real names. I want people to know who we are.
Right.
And then when they come up to us in person, they're like, hey, Dave, hey, Jamie.
Right.
Instead of, hey, Sparky7474, which you were
Old handle was.
notoriously known as
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that, because I would always make fun of you about it. But it's, it just sucks
Well,
that we've lost that. And people just think, I guess it's the layer of anonymity that the internet provides that people forget that they're actually talking to human beings,
Yeah.
and they want to have fun. Well, a lot of us want to have fun. There's still some people that are ultra competitive that don't want to have fun. They just want to win no matter what. That means cheating, aim bots, and all that that stuff. They just want the feeling of winning, even though it's not really winning in the end. But that's a whole nother story.
well,
So let's go on to something that makes
Exactly.
me smile.
I
It will
love
make
it.
me spend money too. Nintendo has figured out how to do DLC finally.
yeah.
I'll just leave it a second of air right there because it's awesome. It's there was a little bit of uproar over the Mercedes and the DLC for the Mario Kart as being overly kind of just jumping the shark because everybody was just in a Mercedes car kind of thing.
Yeah.
But thankfully, they were working on something bigger, and they have 2 DLC packs planned. One coming out in November, and the other March of 2015. It's going to have 6 new characters, 8 new cars, and this is the crazy part: 16 new tracks.
Which will be kind of cool, now what I kind of liked about it, or the fact that they're actually adding these new tracks, is that, you're not, now you've got this new way of, or actually just new tracks that you're going to actually have, you're not stuck playing the same tracks over and over and over again, and which have been the same Mario Kart games that we've played previously.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we've only been getting one Mario Kart game a console generation.
Right.
So we've had that same, vanilla Mario Kart experience right when they release it, probably 2 or 3 years into the life, and then it just stays the same. And it's still super popular, but the fact that they can actually give us more content
Right.
and make it fresh and keep us there,
Well,
and at a decent price too.
yeah.
Yeah, because they basically both packs will come out at $8, but you can buy both of them for $12.
Which is
together.
Which is a good deal, I mean,
Which is an amazing deal, in my opinion, because that's basically 3 characters, 4 cars, and 8 tracks per DLC.
per deal, yeah, exactly. Well, and what they have, if you haven't heard that, they have, the F-Zero car is going to be in it. They're having Link in it, one of the characters, Link, and then Tanuki, Mario, and Cat Peach. So, you're going to get these little diverse different characters that you're going to be able to use. It's kind of cool. If you haven't seen it yet, you can probably just Google it and check out their little trailer video it's not a trailer video, it's actually just screenshots.
It's just screenshots that actually were part of the leak that happened earlier in the week that got somebody fired. But it's awesome because I bought a Wii U for Mario Kart 8, and to know that they're coming out with DLC for it, that's actually compelling for me to buy.
Well, I thought that was kind of the
I'm
reason
happy.
why I put it on there, just because I knew that you bought a Wii U, and I figured, and you've been playing, you've played Mario Kart 8, so I thought that was actually kind of cool.
I think I probably play more Mario Kart 8 on that machine than anything else. Almost every other game that I've played so far has been kind of disappointing. But then again, I haven't played that many.
There you go. But, I mean, it's good to hear. I'm glad to see Nintendo's actually getting into being able to add DLCs now to their consoles.
And to realize what that marketplace is capable of doing.
Yeah, I mean,
they've come a very long way.
Well, I mean, they've been missing out, like like you were saying. They've just been missing out on such a good
they just
portion of
missing
it.
out. It's just they didn't even acknowledge that it existed, and it's awesome that with the Wii U they are traveling down the road that they're finally catching up to where, well, not catching up, but realizing the incentive of having that stuff up there. So they're almost like Xbox Live, not even like PlayStation Network was at the beginning of last generation, where they're realizing the strengths of it and they're going to utilize it finally. It's not only the Mario Kart 8 stuff that they've done that with. They have also put like a kind of a free to play version of the Wii Sports on Wii U Network, where you can download. You get like 2 free sports, and then you can buy the other ones like per menu kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they're doing this and they're not ignoring that whole marketplace.
Well, and this is really good. So now for those who actually have a Wii U, they're not having to worry about a new another year to go by to actually have another Mario Kart. So now they're just actually sending out, and now you're going to get this extra tracks, extra characters, and not having to wait a whole another year just to get a Mario Kart 9.
Well, it's not a whole another year. It's a whole another 4 or 5 years.
Well, yeah, they actually do it with console.
For the next console.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there's one release per hardware. So the 3DS already got their Mario Kart. We had one Mario Kart.
Yeah.
This is going to be the Mario Kart for Wii U. It depends on how long the system actually has a tail on it. So we'll see what actually happens. To keep the big smiles going, you saw some big news. Well, unfortunately, I rained a little bit onto it, but since you didn't know my reference point, you don't know the gist of it yet, but I'll let you go ahead and be happy right now and announce it.
Well, the big news was, for me anyways, that EA actually announced in Dragon Age Inquisition that they are actually going to have a co-op / multiplayer in the Dragon Age I can't even say the word, Inquisition. I was kind of happy to see that.
Didn't have to say it twice.
I know, I did say it twice, but
you said it right the first time.
And then I screwed it up. My happiness is the fact is that I always thought that Dragon Age had always, even though it's an RPG game, and just kind of like how Skyrim was, those games to me always feel that they lacked in not having a co-op player. Now, a lot of you guys will go ahead and disagree with me, and I understand your side as well.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Well,
in the point that Skyrim, the major point of that game is exploring the world, while Dragon Age, the major point in that game has always been the story.
Understandable, but what I'm saying is that if they could have just added maybe even a second person to play with, I mean, just like Two Towers, we were able to play that. That was storyline driven, yet they had a multiplayer cooperative play in it, and we went around and we searched and.
I think you're trying to say Two Worlds, not Two Towers.
You're right. I'm sorry. Two
Worlds 2, which basically had a very, very disappointing multiplayer to it.
Well, it wasn't good. But
don't even excuse it, because you made people buy it so we could play it with you, and then you stopped playing after a week.
Well, it was really bad.
I'm not letting you live that one down. There's people that you made buy.
But it was bad.
It was Scott and Michelle, right?
Yeah, Scott and Michelle.
Yeah.
But it was,
and you played it for 1 week, and then the three of us actually played it for probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then what happened? It was horrible. You guys had problems linking up.
I wouldn't say it was horrible. It just wasn't what we were expecting.
Yeah.
We were expecting a Skyrim co-op.
Well,
like a big open world experience, and unfortunately, it narrowed it down to these point A to point B adventures, and there weren't many of them.
Right.
Which was very disappointing, because like the spell system in that game was really cool. And it was cool enough for me to try to. I bought it for like $2 like a month or two ago, and try playing it again. And like I remember why I didn't play it in the single player in the first place, because it's just like
it's bad.
It's weird because the single player I wouldn't say it's bad. They just don't give you a start with anything. They don't give you like a starting class or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You have to work towards everything. They show you a little bit of everything, and you have to work towards it. Right. So you don't get anything cool at all for like the first. I can only get to like 6 hours, and I stop playing. But in the multiplayer, you actually pick the class.
Right.
So you would actually have something cool right off the start. Yeah. Or you're earning something cool within 5 levels. But it's just that whole thing wasn't going very well. But
for me, I mean, that's what I was looking for. For me, Dragon Age, even the first Dragon Age, I was so excited for it. But it was always that single player. And now that they've added, this is the third Dragon Age that's out, they've now added a separate cooperative multiplayer, which I've been waiting for. Now, it has nothing to deal with the single player. It's totally its own entity. So,
well, no, it kind of does. They're trying to tie it in story-wise.
But very small. It's not that big of story-wise.
Basically, it's the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, but you're not in a small arena. It's more like that Two Worlds 2 multiplayer style where you go from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be basically booster packs like Mass Effect 3. And like I said, they're applying the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer ideas to Dragon Age.
Well,
which for me, it's a money draw.
Okay, but let me ask you this question. Were you or were you not going to get Dragon Age? Whether if this was in or out or if you didn't even hear about this.
No, I'm not complaining about the multiplayer. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what that multiplayer actually is.
No.
It's not going to ruin my decision whether or not to buy the game because I didn't want that mode anyways.
Right.
It's just like, okay, that's added value for somebody else, but it's not added value for myself.
See,
it's kind of like Mass Effect 3, where I only played a single-player game, and I probably played the multiplayer for 2 or 3 hours, and I said, okay, this isn't for me. But I didn't go out there and complain that they spent assets and time on it and stuff like that. That's just not me.
No, but like you said, that the reason this is now more of a reason for me why I would get it, even though maybe you wouldn't play it. Maybe a couple of the other guys that we do play with that they might want to join me and actually do the multiplayer and the cooperative side. Yeah, after watching the couple trailers and gameplay of Dragon Age, yeah, I was kind of already hooked. I mean, even though it was kind of still single player, it looked really good. I was kind of like, okay, might be something that I'll definitely get into. But
then I'll have to imagine that multiplayer will become more of a hack and slash as opposed to what Dragon Age really is.
Well, it's not, I mean, if you get a chance, couple people showed it off, and I can't.
IGN has the more in-depth preview right now out there, and they themselves and basically compared it to Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, and Mitch didn't he? Mitch
Dyer.
Yeah, he did. He did that. He basically said, it was more like the Mass Effect 3 type of deal, but. He didn't dog it that much. They didn't get to see too much about it, but it has its hack and slash feel, but with a little storyline behind it. So it still
basically you're venturing in the same world that the Dragon Age Inquisition stuff exists.
The way that they put it was like these other characters that are in this cooperative mode were basically these people were doing things for your single player person.
Yes, that was the exact same way they incorporated the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Yeah, so
it attributed to your galaxy readiness meter, which would somehow affect the ending, even though I don't know.
I don't think it did or didn't.
It's like basically when I looked at that multiplayer, it is a free-to-play multiplayer game.
Right.
But unfortunately, you had to pay $60 just to get access to it.
And for me,
it's a grind fest. At least the Mass Effect 3 was. It's very grindy, and you get booster packs, but you're still grinding most of the time. And for me, that's probably, like I said, maybe I'll try it out for like 2 to 3 hours, and that's about it.
Yeah, but it's short. It's meant to be short. It's not meant to be a big part of...
the different events are supposed to be short, but I'm saying I'll probably play the whole thing as a whole
within
the multiplayer for 2 to 3 hours to try it, just to get a gist of it. And right when I see that if it ends up being like the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, because this is just all assumptions,
right?
Then I'll probably just say, okay,
you're done.
Fine, whatever. It is what it is.
Right, move on. And like I said, it's not trying to take away from the main story or the single play or single player game of it, but for me, it was just another niche for me to want to actually to purchase the game. And so I was kind of excited. And it's their way, or for me, I'm looking at EA's, their way of maybe the next Dragon Age, there might be a cooperative play. And again, this is all assumption. This is just me speaking out loud. I know you're not going to agree with me.
There might be an offshoot in the Dragon Age universe that will be like this.
Yeah, but what was the other game that you told me that wasn't going to have like a cooperative?
Kind of like which one?
I'm trying to remember. I was trying to think while we were talking, but I don't know. There was a game you and I were discussing that you didn't expect that it would happen, and it ended up
Dragon
happening.
Age.
No, it wasn't Dragon Age. It was something else. But
it was Dragon Age. I've been like ever since you saw it at E3, you were like, oh, I'm unimpressed because it doesn't have co-op.
Yeah,
I'm unimpressed.
Well, I'm not. I wasn't really impressed. It's just another Dragon Age with a great storyline. Don't get me wrong; they have great storylines. But I'm really, for me, games like that, when you do an RPG, you want to be able to experience that fun with a friend, and whether it's just you two playing or
No,
even playing
you're
by
talking
yourself.
for your own opinion.
Yeah, I am talking based
Because
on
there's
my opinion.
like I can separate the two between games that I'd rather play alone because I want to get pulled into the world, which is very hard to do with me or you wisecracking over a microphone the entire time.
But what if?
Or me waiting for you to go through your inventory all the time.
No. But what if it
So
was?
I'd
just,
rather play those games by myself. That way I can move them at my own pace. I can pay attention to the story.
right.
And I can get into these combat situations where I am basically a general on the field.
Right. Well, here's my thing, and
if you want that kind of gameplay, just go play your MMOs. Leave Dragon Age out of it. Go play MMOs.
no, I'm telling you, Dragon Age. And this is me saying it. I think at some point they will add a cooperative side of it.
An offshoot.
No,
They'll have an offshoot at some point, like there was a
it won't be an offshoot.
Mass Effect rumored offshoot where it was supposed to be a MOBA.
No, I honestly they'll implement it, and I can't remember what game you and I were discussing. And
It was always been Dragon Age.
no, there was another game, and we said that you said it would never.
The only
happen.
one that was surprising that it has added co-op lately is Assassin's Creed, but I could easily see that happening since
and
they have been aiming towards that for the past like 3 or 4 games.
Well, yeah, okay, so that was the game. I do remember that was the game that I was telling you that they needed.
Yeah,
to
but
add.
I never said that would never have co-op.
Well, I just think.
The only one I said that about was Dragon Age.
I'm-
I have a better memory than you do.
Okay,
trust
well,
me.
this is being recorded.
We both know this.
And we've discussed this in length right now that you're saying that Dragon Age will never will never have
the
co-op.
main Dragon Age line of games will not have co-op. And that's what I did say because I said it will be an offshoot of Dragon Age. It will still be Dragon Age at the beginning, but it will be an offshoot from the main series. Kind of like Fable Legends, where they're saying that is an offshoot of Fable.
I can see that.
That's what will happen with Dragon Age if they do a co-op game. And honestly, if the Star Wars MMO was actually it is not. It's doing pretty good. Then I could easily see them doing a Dragon Age MMO.
I still think they can.
Yeah, but it won't be a Dragon Age game. It'll be an offshoot
Here
of the
we
Dragon
go.
Age series.
See, do you see the bickering that he and I have? And this is why we do it.
Yeah, that's what we talked about before, but this is the first time it's actually happened on air, which is kind of nice because then you can see the stuff that I have to deal with.
No, it's basically it's really his opinion versus my opinion is what it is. And
Well, no, this is stuff that you're saying that I said in the past when your memory sucks.
no, it doesn't.
When I told, oh, it does suck. Don't make me bring up the whole ice bucket challenge thing where I said I was going to challenge somebody, and then you go ahead and challenge that same person 30 minutes before I could put my video up. You're like, oh, I forgot.
I did. I
Yeah,
totally
you got the
forgot.
idea because of me, you dick.
Well, I couldn't
But anyways,
Let's move on.
to move to the last topic of the show, I got to start out with a nice story. And of course, this is going to be a hardware review because I just bought a mouse for the first time in a very long time.
And
So it's a
obviously,
very sad day.
no, I think it's a
back
good
in-
day.
No, it's a very sad day because I'm retiring a mouse. A mouse that I purchased back in 1999. The Microsoft IntelliMouse Optical.
Doo-doo-doo.
One of the first optical optical mice that was ever on the market. And I have been using it for 15 years.
10-year-old.
15 years. I bought that when I was in high school.
And you still have it?
and I was still using it because the mouse that they gave me with this Alienware was just a crappy 2-button mouse, and that's it. So, and I kept on, just looking in the market. I'm like, man, any mouse that looks like it would be worthy of replacing the IntelliMouse Optical is like at least $60. And then it would have 20,000 different features on it that I don't care about, like the Naga mouse.
So, whatever.
I don't need 9 buttons on the side because I'm not that in depth with MMO. So I was just constantly looking for a mouse that would fit the bill to replace that mouse.
Right.
And you don't realize how hard it is. Because if you go below that $60 mark, then it just becomes a 3-button mouse. It becomes the left, right click, and the scroll.
Right.
And that's it. They wouldn't have the side buttons on it.
Right.
So, thankfully, I was paying attention to Best Buy ads. And this week, they're having a sale on SteelSeries accessories. And in the past, I know that Gamertag Radio has done a review for, I believe it was the headset and one of their keyboards, and they're very favorable reviews. And, before that, I never even heard of the company. So, going into it with that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a mouse this time. Uh-huh. And they were on sale. There's like 2 or 3 different models on sale for $45. Regular price at $60. So I was going through them. I'm like, all right, let me get this one. So I ended up picking up the SteelSeries Sensei Raw with the rubber surface on it. And it's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buttons. It's a 7-button mouse. It has a button on top where it can change the sensitivity on the fly.
That's nice.
So, if I'm on my desktop, you don't want it too sensitive because you're doing a bunch of other things. Mm-hmm. But then when you go into a shooter, I just click the button. It's right on top. And then it goes into ultra Twitch controls, for like Call of Duty and stuff like that, which is nice if, it's cool.
Though you said you didn't want something with a lot of buttons. Yet it has 7 buttons.
Yeah, but it's not a whole lot of buttons, though.
It's
only really 2 more buttons than the other one that I had.
Well, technically, I have 12 buttons on the side with 2 kind of side slant buttons plus the clicker of the roll. So I got about 15 buttons. But, 7 buttons, it's still a good amount of buttons.
7 buttons, but it's designed nicely. Like, there's 2 buttons on my left.
Uh-huh.
On my thumb. One is to go basically, for example, is to go backwards on like a web page. The one at the base of my thumb is to go forward on the web page. Mm-hmm. While the 2 on the right side do like a page up, page down thing right now.
Yeah.
And these are all, you can assign macros to them and all that stuff.
Customizable.
You're mouse and stuff like that.
Right.
And like it pulsates with this light. I'm trying to show you in the camera.
Right.
But you can actually control that. You can have it always on. You can have it always off. This is one step below like the regular Sensei mouse.
Uh-huh.
That's why it's called the Raw. It's just got a little less features in it and stuff like that. But
but if you don't use them, it's no need for
it. Yeah, after like I got this Saturday, so it's been like 4 or 5 days, and me, I've been spending a lot of time in Neverwinter lately.
Yeah,
and I really like the mouse. I like the feel of it with the rubberized feel.
Uh-huh. Though you said that there was one drawback from it, and your drawback was the fact that the cord was too short.
The cord was too short, yeah. But, that's a difference of maybe a foot over the IntelliMouse Optical. Right. And that only really can be said about my setup because I have my computer hooked up to my TV, and then I have like a table that's like probably 5 feet away from my TV.
Yeah.
With my keyboard, mouse, and microphone on it and stuff like that. It's one of the benefits of living alone. I can do what I want in front of my TV. And that sounds really bad, and I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. But anyways, I'm really digging the mouse. It's got like a braided cable on it too, so I don't have to worry about it if I'm babysitting my niece's cat and it decides to bite into a cable.
Right.
I doubt it's going to get through this cable. I really like the mouse though. Like I said, it was hard to find a mouse that I didn't want to spend too much money on, and I'm really surprised at how well made this mouse is. It feels solid. It's light. It doesn't produce as much light as my IntelliMouse did because that thing has a bright red LED that's always on. But I'm really liking it, and I'm glad I bought it.
Well, that's good.
So I would suggest you guys check out the SteelSeries line of products. It seemed very quality driven.
And I actually looked at multiple mouses before I bought the Razer Naga mouse. Nice. I almost went with one of the SteelSeries one, and I've heard of SteelSeries I don't know, about 3 or 4 years ago. And, they were still a new company. They were coming out. They were trying to compete with Razer and trying to even compete at that time with Logitech.
And Turtle Beach with their headsets too.
Yeah, with Turtle Beach and their headsets. But I only had to do, as I was actually watching them or actually looking at them, I decided to go with just the Razer Naga mouse because I tend to use them more for my MMOs. So it was better for me to actually go with the Razer mouse than it was to actually go with the SteelSeries.
Yeah, like that's where I saw the most discrepancy when I was just looking at the Razer mice, where it was either the Naga mouse or something with only like 3 buttons on it. I'm like, yeah. I've been using that IntelliMouse forever, and having those side buttons where they're just like in the perfect spot for my thumbs, and like my right fingers. It's just it made sense, and it was such a good design. And a lot of the mice today have taken so many different design elements from that mouse and applied them. It's kind of sad that I'm getting rid of that Microsoft mouse.
Well, no,
but I'm not really getting rid of it. It's going to go into a drawer somewhere, and I'm sure I'm going to use it at some point again.
Yeah,
because that's amazing though that mouse has lasted 15 years with no issues.
Well, it's quality made mouse. I mean, that's what you're talking.
No issues. Yeah, but it's just crazy how long that mouse could last and still, be worth using.
Well, and now
for me,
think about it. It's an infrared mouse, and probably one of the first infrareds, like you were talking about, and that infrareds don't actually have any issues. You don't have to worry about a little ball on the inside that tends to collect dust and dirt.
No, and LEDs pretty much last forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
The only thing you have to worry about is the lens on it, collecting dust, or the lens actually going.
Yeah, I mean, unless the infrared goes out.
Still 15 years, and it still works.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is you can still read reviews on that mouse right now.
Yeah.
And, like, that thing works on everything. If you have a tablet, odds are you can plug it in and it'll work.
They're universal.
It's crazy.
They're universal.
Yeah, but that's 15-year-old mouse. You wouldn't think that drivers would be available for that, and that it would work still.
No,
but it still does.
Yeah, they use general drivers. So, but I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, that is a definitely old mouse, and the fact that it held up this long for 15 years is.
Yeah, it lasted through college. Even though it was only 1 year of college, it lasted through college. I probably spilled beer on it a couple times too. It wouldn't surprise me. But countless amounts of mozzarella sticks and peanut butter cups throughout the years.
Fatty.
What? I am not fat. You take that back, sir. But anyways, that will close up episode 27. Make sure you check out bitlapse.com for all your information, whether you want to post feedback, comments, likes, see videos. We have it all there. Scroll down all the way to the bottom. We have links to the RSS feed, YouTube page. I try to post Stitcher links throughout the pages and all that fun stuff. Check out our BitLapse Brawl and Dave vs. Jamie stuff. We have a lot of content right now, and we're trying to find some more somehow.
Yeah, we've been hitting every aspect of every social media, as well as putting up more videos. So just like Dave said, go check that stuff out. It's out there for you guys to watch. And don't forget, guys, you guys can still leave us messages, tweet us if you guys want,
comments, feedback,
all that stuff. It's very important.
iTunes reviews.
Yeah, so
let us know. Let us know if you make Pokemon with our name and stuff like that. Shout out to Shakespeare. But it's good hearing that stuff because that means people are actually listening. It's nice to know that people are listening, isn't it?
I 100% am glad people are listening. Or we'd be just talking to ourselves.
What did you say?
Huh? What are you talking about?
You just ruined the joke. Thanks a lot. Anyways, you can get to me on Twitter at David2Sly.
And me at JamieS7474.
And we will catch you guys later.
Thanks, everyone.